We can use the place value method when we're dividing large numbers. The place value method is similar to the rectangle method in multiplication, and it should look pretty familiar. Here's your rectangle. Notice that I've put a few zeros here to remind us that each one of these boxes represents a different place value. For example, the one with 2 zeros represents the place value of the hundreds place. So this is the hundreds spot. With this 1 0, this is the tens spot. So if I put a 2 here, it would not be 2 ones, it would be 2 10 bars. And then this is the ones spot. So if I put a 4 here, it would be like 4 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4. In the 10 spot, I have 2 10 bars. And in the 100 spot, if I put a 3 here, I would have 300 boxes. Keeping that in mind, let's use this model right here to help us solve some longer division problems. Let's first work on the problem 764 divided by 5. Just like in the rectangle method for multiplication, I'm going to put the 5 on the side. But instead of expanding out 764, I'm going to put 764 in my hundreds box. Then I'm going to be looking in my hundreds place value. My 7 is in the hundreds spot. Just looking at that 7, I'm going to ask how many times can 5 go into 7 without going over. If I count by 5s, I know 5, 10. 2 times would be too big, so I know that 5 can go into 7 one time. That's not a 1, that's really 100, because this is my hundreds box. Now I need to multiply or distribute the 5 to my 100. 5 times 100 is 500. My next step is to subtract these numbers. 4 minus 0 is 4, 6 minus 0 is 6, and 7 minus 5 is 2. 264. Now I'm done with my hundreds block, and I'm going to bring my 264 up to my tens box. Now that I'm looking at my tens spot, I can see my 6 is in the tens spot. I want to focus on anything that's in the tens spot and bigger. So 26. I'm going to ask myself, how many 5s can fit into 26? Or what is 26 divided into 5 equal groups? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. If I go up to 30, that's too big. So 5 will be able to fit there. Now remember, my 5 is not 5 ones, it's 5 tens, so that's 50. Now I'm going to distribute my 5 to my 50. 5 times 50, well, 5 times 5 is 25. Add in my 0, 250. Then I'm going to repeat my subtraction process. 4 minus 0 is 4. 6 minus 5 is 1. 2 minus 2 is 0. The only number I have left now is 14, and I'm going to pull 14 up to my 1 spot. Just like in my 10 spot, I'm going to look in my 1's place value, and I'm going to grab anything that's bigger than that. So 14, how many times does 5 go into 14? 5, 10, 3 would be 15, so I know 2 is my best answer. I'm going to distribute my 5 out to my 2. 5 times 2 is 10. Subtracting that number, I get 4. My final answer after I've used my place value method, I'm going to be adding up 152. This little 4 becomes my remainder. Remainder 4. Let's try that one more time with a second example in the hundreds. I'm going to put my 4 on the side, and 953 is going to be placed in my box. 953. This is my hundreds box right here. So I'm going to look in my hundreds place. 4 goes into 9 twice. So I've created 2 hundreds. Now I'm going to multiply 4 times 2, which is 8. Adding in my zeros, 800. And I'm subtracting 3, 5, and 1. Now I'm going to move that number down to my tens spot, 153. I'm going to first look in my tens place value and grab anything that's bigger. So that 1 is in my hundreds spot, but because I'm doing tens and biggers, I'm going to include that in. So 4 goes into 15. Well, I know 4 times 4 is 16, which is too big. So I'm going to do 4 times 3. 4 times 3, I'm distributing that 4 out to the 3. 4 times 3 is 12. I can't forget my little 0, so I'm going to add that in. 3 minus 0 is 3. 5 minus 2 is 3. 1 minus 1 is 0. My last step, I bring my 33 into my ones box. Now that I'm in my ones box, I look at my ones place value and I grab anything that's bigger than that. So 33, 4 is distributed out to 33. 4 goes into 33. Well, I know 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32. That's 8 times 4 is 32. Then I'm subtracting and I get 1. Now I'm going to combine my expanded number together and get 238 with a remainder of 1. Let's do one more example together, and this time let's focus on a number that's a little bit larger. 2,764 divided by 3. When I'm setting this problem up, I'm still putting my 3 on the side, and I'm still going to put my big number, 2,764, in my hundreds box. This time, though, I'm going to be looking at my hundreds spot and anything that's to the left or bigger. So that would be 27. I'm going to look at 27 and I'm going to think, okay, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24. Hey, it goes in perfectly 9 times. 9 times 20, 3 times 9 is 27, and I need to add in my 2 zeros. 4 minus 0 is 4. 6 minus 0 is 6. 27 minus 27 is 0. Now that I've completed my hundreds box, I'm going to pull my 64 up to my tens box. And then I'm just going to look at the tens place value. I don't have anything in the hundreds spot, so I'm just going to look at my 6. 3 goes into 6 2 times. 3 times 2 is 6. So I'm going to distribute that 3 out and multiply. Don't forget your 0 because I'm in the tens box. 64 minus 60, this is what I know I can count up on. So I'm going to start at 60, 61, 62, 63, 64. I have 4 left. My last box is my 1 spot, and I'm going to pull my 4 up there. I only have 1 digit in my 1 spot, nothing in my tens. So I'm going to wonder, okay, 3 goes into 4 1 time. 3 times 1 is 3. I'm going to subtract. 4 minus 3 is 1. Now I can get my final answer by smooshing together my expanded form, 921, with a remainder of 1.